Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday, October 28th. Um, Again, I have the Topstep Express funded accounts, one copy trading the other. This is my first trade of today. So at the very top, this is the 5-minute chart. At the very top, you see kind of it looked like the top candles on this 4 hour fair value gap were kind of being rejected any further. So that's the reason why I took that entry into a short. It obviously looked really promising. Even after the third candle, there was like a huge jump down, like that one right there, which kind of made me think, okay, it was going to continue down. Um, that wasn't the case with this trade, but It it just looked promising. I don't regret trading this trade setup per se. But you'll see in the rest of the video a little bit of things that I guess I could have looked better at, could have analyzed a little bit better. Um, After this other candle, this fourth candle, kind of started, it just didn't give me that much hope. Um, because it was just going up a little bit too much. Um, but I'm kind of getting into that mode of just, letting the trade play out, whether it hits my stop loss or not. Just to kind of see it play out and see, because I've seen candles where they kind of just, reverse into your direction that you wanted it to, but this one was just not promising. Um, so then after that, I just started analyzing. It was 8:55 and I was just thinking, well, it still looked like it wanted to reject that 4 hour candle. The 4 hour candle, start of a new candle starts at 9. So I was kind of just looking at every time frame, seeing if I, see it at a different angle, maybe I would have a different perspective. And then I started looking at MNQ and MES, and it just looked so ugly that I didn't really want to mess with that. So here I'm kind of just analyzing everything, and it just did not look promising. It didn't even hit VWAP, as you can tell by the blue and red lines on the top. But, the only reason why I went in the second time on this short was, I don't know, it still looked like it was rejecting. This one was a stupid trade, obviously. I had already told myself, it wasn't rejecting. The price action was really horrible. It hadn't even hit VWAP. I was looking at that other 1 hour fair value gap that was above the 4 hour fair value gap. And yeah, it just didn't look pretty. As soon as I entered it, I had very low hopes that it would go my way. So then I moved my stop loss further down so that way I don't lose entire the entire 100. I have my settings, my risk settings set up to every trade I'm only risking $100. Um, and I usually move that, up or down as I see fit. The majority of the time, I'm risking a little bit less than 100. So then I went ahead and looked at MES again. The blue lines that you see are the 15-minute opening range breakout. And as you can see, it kind of stayed within that range. It didn't even break out. Normally I wouldn't even take this trade. So I guess like the further I go along the day, the more my choices just end up pretty bad. As you can see on the 1 minute chart as well, it just looks super disgusting. Like there was no confirmation. There was nothing telling me that it was going to go up or down. It was slightly going up, which I guess gave me a little bit of hope. On the 1 minute chart, you can see the VWAP and the 200-day EMA. It was kind of just sitting there. So my thought process was, well, there's always resistance kind of where the VWAP kind of sits. And then if you look at the 1 minute candles, it kind of just looked like it was slowly going up, which, I guess it wasn't the best trade. at all. Um, and you can see here that I'm making lines. I'm trying to make it make sense to me, and it's really not. The further I get into the trade, the less confident I feel about it, really. Um, but again, I wanted to kind of just see it play out. Again, it was very tricky because it did look like it wanted to go up, but the candles were just so indecisive, so disgusting. It just really had no direction, and I should have known better. And again, the more I get into the trades throughout the day, especially being like it was already 9:18 and it just didn't look promising. There was really no push up or down. Um, yeah, it was just horrible. I still didn't even know if it was gonna go up or down, but um after a certain point it does start looking like it wanted to break away to the upside. Um, just with that candle in itself, which again gave me a little hope. Um, but after the next candle started, it was kind of just like, it's just gonna be messing with me the whole time. I should have just, taken, what little profit it was giving me anyways, because there was just no, like, I wasn't really stressed out going into the trade or anything. I know I wasn't risking like too much, but at this point, this is already like my third trade of the day, and yeah, it just looked really disgusting. There was no clear confirmation anywhere. There was no clear direction. And I knew this, but I think this is how I learned specifically. I know it's very rough. I know most, really good traders don't do this. But again, this is my journey. This is my journal specifically for myself to kind of watch the mistakes that I make over and over again until I finally learn not to get into trades that don't tell me anything. Um, I didn't lose too much today. I know my daily loss limit is at 400. I believe I lost like two something. Um, Not the best. Again, the first maybe two trades were a little promising. This trade, very tricky. Didn't really like how any of the candles were forming, if I'm gonna be honest. Um, but yeah, I think after like the fourth trade, I did decide to call it quits. Um, I'm still pretty confident that I won't blow the accounts. Still trying to, I guess, get myself out of the hole. I don't know if I would say like I'm totally in the hole. I don't feel stressed out going into these trades, but I don't feel too super confident either. And I guess I just need to wait for like a better day and then just take my one trade and, kind of stop it like that. So it's still a waiting game. I still need to practice my patience, which I'm slowly getting better, but not where I want to be. So then at this point, I'm looking at gold again. It finally hit the VWAP and it hit the 1 hour fair value gap the way I liked for it to hit. So at this point, I'm looking at gold again, and I'm wanting to short it, and it does look promising. Um, but the candles just weren't pushing like I wanted it to, I guess. Um, So as soon as I get into the trades, like I said, I more or less know if it's gonna go my way or not. And at this point, I'm not feeling too confident in it. But I like to see the trades play out, so I usually will just move my stop loss to so that way I can just hit it. Um, Hopefully tomorrow's a better day. Um, you'll see my calendar here in a little bit with all the stats. Doing super shitty, but I'm still hopeful for tomorrow. So I will go ahead and record again. Win or lose, I will record tomorrow. So peace.